Okay, well, let's have a look. We've got 16 members, so let's just start now. It's 1:04 Australian Eastern Standard Time. Thank you very much for joining the April Club Forum. We renamed it to Club Forum because this is really meant to be a meeting that gets all the different clubs together. It's kind of like almost like a mini national conference, but for 1 hour, focusing on the things that we need to know. Now, look, we're going to more properly explain all of this next month, but what I'm going to do is hand over to Jenny. She's going to talk a little bit more about the Club Forum. Then we're going to hand over to Natika, who's going to talk about ASCCA's new website and some other interesting things. Then we're going to hand over to Tony, our operations manager, and then we're going to end up finishing with a bunch of interesting tech stuff from me. So we still have that element of interesting tech news, but we do want this to be a forum where the clubs can come together. I mean, anyone that's an ASCCA club member can visit as well. And we want to promote the clubs, learn how to get more members, learn about the things that are working for the different ASCCA club members. Now that things are sort of coming back on, people are a bit more willing to venture forth. Not everybody, but willing to venture forth. We need to be sort of helping each other to encourage people to come out and for everything to come back to normal. So look, let me hand over to to Jenny, and she'll tell you a bit more.
Thanks very much, Alex. Hello, everyone. This, as Alex said, is a little bit different to what has gone on previously. It's not quite a national annual conference, but it's sort of like a virtual newsletter, if you can put it that way. The board of ASCCA has seen in recent times there's a real sort of movement at the station type of feeling that people are anxious to get back to some form of normality, and we've seen a real interest in club membership, and so it sort of went hand in glove with us developing the new website. And if you've seen it, it's still a work in progress, but we're working hard on the resources that will be available to everyone, whether it be clubs or their members or the general public. We're going to dispense with lots of restrictions that used to be on the old website, where clubs had a login and a password and only financial clubs could have access to the resources. I think we're looking we're growing up a bit, and there's so many resources out there that are available free without restriction. So we're going to be the same. And our people have gone through all the existing resources, and we've archived the old ones, and we've revamped the current ones to be more relevant. So going forward, we're just going to sort of improve it bit by bit as we go. So it's a work in progress always, so keep a watch out for it. We've just made an arrangement with Prime Time, and that will also be a really great tool for planning your current situation in life, and also working towards retirement. So we'll give you more in the newsletter in May, but that is a definite. We've revamped the membership forms. We had, in reaction actually to the feedback from last year, where by necessity we had to go digital, so we thought we'll have digital membership forms as well, but perhaps they were a bit cumbersome, so we've streamlined them, simplified them. There's one size fits all. You just tick a box, and all the questions that we used to have on the membership form, we're going to form that as part of a survey so that we can get to know the clubs more. Teak will talk more on that. Then with the seniors card, we've just got something that we will elaborate more in the main newsletter, but they're actually having a seniors story volume 8 with creative writing. So the submissions are open from 9th of April to 21st of May. And we'll put that on the ASCCA Facebook page as an interim announcement to allow people to get cracking. It is for only New South Wales seniors cards, but there's still a lot of people who are in New South Wales and who might be interested in maybe brushing up prior to the ASCCA conferences, Susan? So finally, mine's just a little brief chat. I don't know how come I drew the short straw, but I did. Someone said it's tough at the top, but little do they know. Carol O'Halloran, you might have heard of her. She has a TV show in Victoria, South Australia and Queensland. And, oh, good on you, Teak. Yes. So it's called Over 50, So What? And she's a real bright button of a lady. And I drew the short straw recently to, well, last week actually, to have an interview. And of course, because I talk so much, turned it into 3 segments. So it's it views early May. So in the newsletter, May newsletter, we'll let you know when it is, so you can avoid it. But apart from that, I'll hand over to Teak, and I think it's really good that we've perhaps modified this, and what we're looking for in future is for clubs to ask questions, and we'll have this not just as an interim newsletter, like a virtual newsletter, but hopefully we'll put some lessons or tutorials or something there, because there's a wealth of resources of the personal ownership. You know, people can impart skills for clubs to better perhaps manage their own governance, or whether it be, you know, teaching something that they can then train the trainer type thing. So that's what we hope to do, and expand this into something that's got a lot of meat in it. So thanks for that. I'll let Teak take over with the nitty gritty.
Thanks. Hi all. I hope you all have had a very nice Easter and all surviving the COVID outbreaks and stuff. I'm braving it in the big smoke, and hence why I'm in a jumper today, because it's a bit colder here than it is at home. I think we're cracking 38 at home, going home to that tomorrow. Woohoo! Whereas Perth's getting to 27.
I should interrupt that Natika's been home in Albany because it was her 50th birthday. And it was really cold there.
Yes, it was, especially for us poor little northern ducks. Anyway, so yes, I just wanted to check in with everyone and see if anyone's had any glaring bugs in the website, etc., because that, as you all know, that went live at the beginning of April. It wasn't without its extra grey hairs and so forth for some of us, me in particular. There are a few little glitches that happened, but we think that we've got it up and running reasonably confidently well at the moment. But if there are any little bits and pieces in there that aren't working for you, or that you think are errors or whatever, please do let us know. I would also like to point out a few of the features that we've plugged into it this time. And one of those, let me just go and share the actual site. I do want to show you the events calendar, and I would like a little, I'm down to just one laptop screen here, so bear with me. I usually have doubles at home. So in the events section, just a quick show of hands for those that are on screen, who has had a look at the events calendar on the website? Thanks, Susan. That's great. Jan, Tony. Yep. Excellent, David. So on here, you can see that today's Clubs Forum was listed, and the link for the actual Clubs Forum is in there as well. So you don't have to go trolling through your inbox if you miss it. It should be in this calendar. And so Alex and Tony and I are going to sort of sit down and put our heads together and set up a few dates and put them and pre-populate and so forth. So definitely do keep an eye on this calendar, because this is where we will be updating. It's a live calendar for the ASCCA team. So we'll be updating the events in here, and all of your either registration details or whatever should actually come up in these once they're ready. Sorry, I've got my grand puppy here and the wind's blowing the doors and she's getting a bit protective, thinking that she needs to look after me. So you can also see Jean's Jean's online training when they're ready. They're in there as well. So you should be able to get in there and scroll through and be able to register. Oh, I didn't hyperlink that, my bad. So there's one glitch I've found. So this is a useful activity. So if anyone has any queries about those sorts of things, they should all be on here as well as in the mail out from Jean and the newsletter each month. So keep an eye on those. I have been putting on there open bookings for the Suede stuff, so the Be Connected intros, etc. We also have our next lot of Be Connected training scheduled in for next month. So just bear with me while I move you over there and then go to the May calendar. So this is just a Google calendar that we've plugged in, and you should be able to go to each of the months. You can tell it to look at month view or week view or an agenda view. So it should work for most people on how they like to interact with their bits and pieces. But I haven't got our booking on there for our next lot of digital mentor training. So there's another thing that I need to go and find. So in there, once we've finished with the with developing the 2023 membership form, because we're just redesigning that at the moment, that will be in under the members of clubs and resources. There'll be a link to that in there, so you'll be able to fill that out online. You don't have to worry about printing it out, filling it out and then scanning it and sending it back to us. By filling it out online, it makes it a lot easier for people like Michael the accountant and for Tony to manage the club information, because it pre-populates an Excel spreadsheet for us. So we just go and make sure that those bits and pieces are all up to date. But yeah, I'm open for any feedback. You can send that through to either the ASCCA@ascca.org email address or to my email address, which is floating around on there under the Be Connected stuff, under the learning section on the website. I'm hoping that is going to be an easy enough to navigate menu. Jen and Tony and Jean and myself all sort of thrashed it out over the course of the beginning of the year. So if there's any suggestions that you have, we'll take any constructive criticism on board and see what we can do.
Not too much.
Yeah, no, not too much. But yes, it is, like Jen said, it is a work in progress. And thanks very much must go to our director, Scott, who has put me in touch with a WordPress guru, but she's also an accessibility guru. So they're actually doing an accessibility audit on the website at the moment, so that all abilities can access the content on the ASCCA website. So I'm very, very grateful for her insight and so forth. So you might see some design changes going forward as well, because she's talked about putting it on a different template that's a little bit more accessible, friendly, etc. So hopefully it won't change around too much, but we are sort of still building up a visual library, because I know that there's not a lot of there are a lot of words on there, not a lot of photographs and stuff. So we're working on that as well. So on saying that, if you do have any great photos that you've taken at conferences in years past or anything like that, flick that through to us and we'll add that into the archives, and we'll work on getting a bit of a gallery page going on there as well. So the next thing that we've done is, like Jen said, we have tried to reduce the membership form. It is one form that has got logic applied to it. So instead of having a renewal versus a new member form and two separate ones, we'll have one, and the logic will take you through whether you're a renewal or whether you're a new member, and the information that we need from you to be able to populate our club's map on the website so that people can find us, and so that we can then make sure that the data is up to date for you. So club contact, the president, the email address, website, any social media that you might have that might encourage new members, etc. And we are also working on developing a survey for members with more information, such as, you know, what insurances do you have? What do you need from ASCCA? So that we can work together to develop a program for these clubs forums that give you all an opportunity to have a say. So I know that there are a lot of clubs that Jen mentioned, are trying to re-establish after all the lockdowns of the last couple of years and trying to get people re-engaged, trying to sort of engage new members and hopefully a bit of succession planning for our clubs, because that's a really tough gig. I'm experiencing that in our Rotary Club in Kununurra. It's really hard to re-engage people back into your clubs after everyone's sort of been a little bit scared to come out and whatnot. We're just sort of in that first flush of COVID here in the West because we've been locked away from you all for so long. Now it's sort of out and about and we're just learning to live with it, but we're trying to re-engage people is one thing. So that's what we were hoping these club forums might be a way to do that. And share, if anyone's having a success on how they're engaging people, it's a space for you to come and share that in here so that it's not just us talking at you. And it's a full, sharing is caring. If you've got frustrations, share those. And if you've got triumphs, then share those. That then brings me to Be Connected. We have our next lot of training. Barry and Susan were in my last lot of training, and we have taken on board that a full day on Zoom is a bit daunting for some. So we've split this into two half days. So Tuesday the 3rd and Wednesday the 4th. So we have got, I think, 12 people registered on that so far. There's only 3 more spots. So it should be a really good session with that. It's good when there's a variety of faces and people in there. We've got people registered from the Christmas Island group training, so Indian Ocean Territories Group Training Association coming to do some, as well as some of our CRCs, as well as some people over east. So we're across all time zones, so that's going to be fun for us all. So half days a bit easier to manage across so many time zones. Thank goodness daylight savings finished, so we've only got 3 or 4 time zones instead of 5 or 6. But we will be running probably one more session in June for the digital mentor training, and then that will be it for this current project. There'll be follow-up support for those, and if anyone's interested in talking to me about Be Connected prior to sort of jumping in and committing volunteers or mentors or trainers to the training, happy to have a chat. There are a few open sessions there for hour-long group chats about Be Connected, and there should have been a link on the website or in the last email out about how to get in touch to book a session to one-on-one for a phone call or anything if you need to have a chat about Be Connected, if you've not ever done it before, or if your club has done it but you're not sure if you're eligible or whatever. I just want to get the money out of those Good Things Foundation's bank accounts and into your bank accounts and get stuff happening for to reinvigorate your clubs now that people are starting to want to come back and engage in face-to-face stuff. So, yeah, that is about it from me. Does anybody have any questions?
People are muted. I muted everybody. So if you've got questions, please unmute yourself or push the space bar and go for it.
Yes.
Natika, when clubs have Be Connected, do you have to sign in lots of new members to be involved, or can you just go with the members you've got?
So that's a great question, and it does depend on whether you've run a Be Connected project before or not. If you've not ever run a Be Connected project before, then you work with the people that you're working with, and depending on where you are on the Dr. Connect scale is how many people you need to target for the funding that you apply for. So the start off grants are $2,500. If you're in regional and remote areas, you need to target 15 people over a 12-month period and give them a couple of hours minimum support each for that. And that can be in a group. So you could have an intro session and you get your 15 people in an intro session, and you have a 1 or 2 hour workshop on online safety or getting started, etc. And then you could do one-to-ones. It's up to you how it works. So if you reach 75% of that number, in metro and built-up areas, it's 30 people. So regional and remote is 15, so it's basically half. if you reach 75% of those people and you're getting new interest, you can apply for the next one because they're on monthly rolling grant rounds. And in metro and built up areas, you can go for 2,500, 5,000, 10,000, 15 or 20,000, I think is what they have. But for the 20,000, you need to target 300 people.
Wow.
But you have to start with the $2,500 one if you haven't ever had Be Connected before. So, and that's a work in progress. They are sort of moving with that. And if you apply for the next one and you've got some people that have been trained in the first one, but they need more support, you can count, I think, 50% of that first cohort in your second grant as well. So you're not constantly having to find 30 new people if you're in the city. So you can find another 10 or 15. So work within your boundaries and your limits, and you do have 12 months. They are aspirational numbers more so than like you have to have 30 people, and if you don't, we're going to come and get $200 per person that you don't have back or whatever. It's an aspirational number. So long as you can show that you're doing everything that you can, they're not going to come and ask for the cash back. But yeah.
And the lessons are free for everyone. So there's no cost at all. It's funded by the federal government. And if a club wanted to deliver Be Connected lessons to some of their interested members, they don't have to go for the grant. And if they are quite happy just to have a session once a week or whenever for their members and not apply for the money, the call is yours. You can have as many or as little as you like and make it work for your members.
Very good. Thank you.
The money's worthwhile, though.
Absolutely. Get it out of their bank accounts and get it into yours.
Right.
Well, the thing is, it's taxpayers' money, so utilise it. There's not too many grants around at the moment, so get in for your chop.
And to add to that, the older Australians are 50 and over. So you can start getting your future seniors, hey, Alex, into engaging. And they might be a good succession planning tool for you down the track as well. So just saying, use it to your advantage and make sure that you're getting that cash in and you're engaging new people and new cohorts, so that's sort of giving your club a bit of future proofing.
Now that you've hit the big milestone,
could I say,
Natika, you're a future senior. You're a current senior.
I know. Look out.
Sorry,
I want to know
go for
Alex
it.
or Natika are in Be Connected and they've done their lessons, because I'll sign them up straight away if they haven't.
Exactly. Do it.
I need a few more. We're up to 75 of our 100 for this grant, but I think we're going to be okay because of COVID. They can't really be saying, well, we've done all we can, you know. We'll just.
Yes, that's exactly right.
What
and
were
you
you
could
gonna
apply for your next one, Sandra.
What were you going to say, Maureen?
I was going to say that,
That looked like you fell off your chair. Are you okay?
Yeah, no.
It was the phone. It was the phone.
That's all right.
Oh, you've muted yourself, Maureen. You've somehow muted yourself, I think.
No, I didn't.
Okay, well, you're back now. We can hear you now.
You're right now.
It was the volume, possibly.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Sorry about that. I'm from Epping, New South Wales, and yes, we have had Be Connected grants. I found, and it is going back some years, I found they were very, what would you say, wanting reports on what lessons you had given each person, and I found the reporting was very stressful and tedious. They were also, and I challenged them about this, wanting birth dates to go with each member you had.
Yes.
And I couldn't see.
The reason for that, Maureen, is the fact that they in turn report to the federal government, because they have to equip their grant to the federal government, and they need to be able to prove that the lessons were delivered to seniors in accordance with the grant application. So we're all sort of like in the same conduit. We've all got our little spot, and it comes down to the fact, really, if you want the money, you dance the tune, because you know it is taxpayers' money. And to be perfectly honest, if it was any less onerous, I would think that, you know, they're not doing their job properly, or the government's not doing their job properly, and making sure where the money is spent, and it's spent wisely and in accordance with what it was purposed for.
If I can help
Sorry
with
about that.
Oh, we
Muted
can't hear you again,
Maureen.
Maureen.
Maureen, can I make a little tip to you?
I
Go
don't
to
know.
the bathroom and get yourself a towel, put the towel on the desk and prop the phone into the towel, and you'll find you've then got you won't have to worry about this phone
I've got the
moving
towel.
over.
Got the towel already.
Yeah.
Good.
Okay. As I was saying.
We can hear you now. We can hear you now.
Yeah. As I was saying, and I was explaining that we then made it, when you're saying that knowing birth dates means that the people know the money's going to the right people, but at the same time, how would they ever check the birth dates in any case? So that's all by the by.
So what
I'm just, let me finish, please. Finish talking about birth dates now. I was just explaining to you people, we did not proceed with applying for further grants. However, what I wanted to say before all this tirade was that I find their lessons are absolutely excellent. They're well laid out. They're in a good size font. The one thing I have appealed to them several times is, would they please number the pages? Because if you're printing them out and you print, say, 20 copies and you drop one sheet and you've got a 5-sheet printing, yes. So they did take me up on that for a few sessions, but I noticed they're not doing it. So now we are not getting a grant, but we are using the excellent Be Connected lessons. So that's what I wanted to back you up in saying.
Thank you. With regards to the birthdays, if I can just go back to that, because I've been working in this space for a very long time, and I have had a number of organisations who have concerns about that, as well as you do, Maureen. So what I've been advising for the last 5 years is you ask for a year of birth so that you can verify, and just then set the 1st of January of the year that they were born is their date of birth. Because like you say, are they going to check everyone's dates of birth? Probably not, but they do need some sort of verification.
Probably not, definitely not.
Exactly. But they do need to verify that it has reached the people, that the tens of millions of dollars that the feds have given out.
Yeah, but it is very embarrassing for the person asking for it.
I agree.
And I just made up dates and didn't keep asking. I just made up a date for them, which I was probably bending it a little bit, but I was able probably to put a more accurate date without embarrassing myself, asking friends of mine.
Yes. Yeah. And that has been an issue, but like Jen said, there wasn't really any way around it, but I have sort of coached.
Well, I got a way around it.
That's exactly right. There are ways around it without having an exact date, because you're teaching people how to protect their information, of which your date of birth is a pretty important piece of personal information.
All of that.
So, so totally understand, and well done for finding a way around that. So, thanks.
Yes, but I think the lessons are excellent.
They are very good, and they have added a lot lately. And I must say, if you are using Be Connected resources, definitely do give the feedback in the monthly surveys, etc., if there are things that are missing, because the Office of eSafety are developing the content and they're very, very responsive to what we're asking for. So there's actually stuff in there for cloud-based services now. There's a whole heap of MyGov and My Health Record and all of that sort of stuff in there. So it is a nice, rich environment. From when it started in 2017-18, it was pretty slim pickings in there. And that's not to say that you must stick with those lessons. If you have one-to-ones with people and they want something in particular, you can report on that as well. So, you know, there's yeah, sorry, Julie.
That's what I found with the other, you put down the other, and I would assume that they're wanting you to do that so they can see if there's a lot of people saying uploading of setting up a phone account onto a mobile. If they see that being reported a lot, oh, there's a lot of people wanting to do that, then they will develop that. I would assume that's what it was. But I was also going to say,
correct.
Sorry, if you're looking for people, I've already applied for 2.5 plus the 5, and now I found out I can't apply for any more till September, which is a bit of a bugger because we've got a lot of people here that need it. Yes. But I've already, so I'm going to set up a not-for-profit group down here, and I'm going to apply for the 2,500. I've already got the 15 people for that 2,500.
Yes.
The information centre down here wants me to teach them. She's going to go through the courses and figure out which ones she wants me to show them. Then she wants me to come back and do a second group with them. And she says, we'll get you 15 people in your first one whatsoever, no problems. So that was just a suggestion. If you're looking for some more people, try the information centres or the U3A or any elderly support places, because they want their members to know how to use the computer and stuff like that.
Yeah, excellent. That's a great.
And it does sound like we should be asking Be Connected to put those page numbers back in.
Yeah. Are you, Maureen, are you printing from the website or from the actual resources, the booklet?
Oh, I've just, I've saved them all into folders, and when I need them, they're on my computer then, you see. But yes, that makes no difference. That if the number's not there, it's not going to appear on one. Yes, excuse me, what I have done is hand numbered them and then photocopied them, but that's a bit of a circus, yes. Sure. But it's just so simple.
Yes. But is it the website that you're printing off, or are you downloading the booklets and they're not putting the numbers on the booklets?
Booklets.
So is it booklets? So there are resources underneath each of the topics that they've got them in other languages as well as English.
Yes, but they're not booklets. I've never struck any.
PDFs, a PDF.
Yes.
So that's what you're printing is the PDF document?
Yes.
Okay, so I will also reiterate what you've said, and because Jen and I have a relationship with Jess Wilson, so we'll sort of feed that directly to the top and see if it gets a bit more attention for you. So, but that's also eSafety, not so much Good Things Foundation, so because they're developing the resource.
And ASCCA has been involved with proofing a lot of the lessons that they put out there as well. We've been the guinea pigs to make sure that, you know, they're actually covering everything that we believe they need to cover for the seniors. So that's been quite a collaborative sort of arrangement, and it's been good that they've approached us, so because we're supposed to be experts in our field. Yeah, so that was good.
All from me, unless anyone else has any questions or comments. Or
Natika, did you receive the email about updating our club's information on the website?
How long ago was that, Barry?
Yesterday, day before?
Oh,
Yesterday.
Probably not yesterday's.
It's running around.
I'll send it over to Natika as soon as this meeting's finished. It will get there, Barry.
Yeah. Thanks.
Thank you.
And Tony, yeah. I must teach someone else how to do that too. Very good. All right. Thanks all.
So, Tony, did you have anything you wanted to add? Oh, you're probably on mute. I've muted everybody, so you'd be on mute, Tony, if you are there.
Okay. For those of you who don't know me, I've been with the organisation since October, and my role has a number of functions, but the one that probably most affects you is I'm the membership person, the person that you come to with issues that relate to club operations and those sorts of issues. I've already got some fantastic stuff from you already. Something I think that we overlook when we're doing these things is our background and understand who we're actually talking to. So my background is I am originally from the eastern states, and I'm originally from the south coast of New South Wales, and I come from Bomaderry. But I joined the army, so I became a bloody nomad, and not a grey nomad. I was only 18, and I then moved all over Australia. So I'm au fait with the situations, and I've got relatives all over the country as well. So I have a strong network across, although I am Perth-based at the moment. My background after the army was in business enterprise centres, which, if you're not familiar with, are small business facilitation groups supported by various governments. And in doing that, my focus was on marketing and developing not-for-profit organisations. So you can see it's a fairly good fit with ASCCA. The main thing I've found at the moment is that we've got a fantastic underutilised network, and that there's so much opportunity for us to get stuff from private and from corporate and from government lobbying that there's a job here forever. Basically, I think it's just so good. Also, the fact that I'm focusing now on future seniors like the Alexes and Teaks of the world. Rest assured, I fall into the seniors category well and truly. And I guess that what I wanted to let people know is that if they have any issues with membership, if there's anything they want to discuss, regardless of time zone, just contact me by the various means that are on the fantastic Teak produced website. That's all. Over to you, Alex.
Great. Well, I was just having a look at a program called PDF Reader on my Mac, and it does look as though that particular one lets me add page numbers to PDFs. So just for Maureen, there might be a way of using Adobe PDF Reader or some other PDF tool. I know it'd be much better if the Be Connected or eSafety people can do it, but there might be some way of manually and yet in an automatic way adding those. So, have a look and see if any of those methods are available to you, and it could temporarily solve the problem.
Yes, but you could just understand when you're doing massing or printing, all you got to do is just drop one sheet, and the whole thing is.
It's a nightmare. Yeah, no, I fully understand. I mean, but I mean, as you were talking, I was trying to think: is there a way that we can use technology to help? Yeah, to apply page numbers. And I mean, I'm on a Mac, maybe.
That's why I did the hand numbering.
Yeah. No. Look, I mean, you obviously found a workaround too, but there may be a technological one that could work for the stuff you've already got. And look, Natika will absolutely contact them. And I mean, it's crazy they're not doing it. Why wouldn't you have page numbers on PDFs or things with pages?
But I did ask them, and then they did it for the next couple of lessons.
Sure. Look, maybe whoever was doing it left, and they got a new person, and so obviously someone hasn't thought it through.
But maybe they need to go to a class.
Maybe. How to number pages in documents. Yes, that would be a very good class to have. Okay, look, it's now 1:42 p.m. We're going to finish at 2. So I wanted to show you a bunch of interesting things on my computer. So let me just mute everybody again so that we've got no doggies barking. So I've muted everybody. If you need to ask questions or speak, obviously, please do so via your pushing the space bar. Now, I wanted to go back to the front page here. So Ancestry.com has, if people are doing any of the genealogy stuff, they've got a new thing called Side View. This, they say, is the first of its kind technology that gives individuals greater DNA insights. And it says here that it is unlocking insights by identifying DNA inheritance by parents. They've got 20 million records. And it says down here, I can have a look. I mean, here's a picture of the ethnicity inheritance powered by SideView. So here's a person called Darla McClay. and they're showing that parent 1 and parent 2, all the different various bits of ethnicities. Now, they're already sort of doing this sort of thing, but what they explain down here, if I scroll down, the quote is from, it says here, so the senior vice president, Brian Donnelly, said, understanding ethnicity and community inheritance in more detail has been the #1 request from Ancestry customers for years. In fact, a recent survey, we learned that 1 in 3 people don't feel knowledgeable about their family history and origins and want to learn more. And so with their side view technology, they can now tell customers with great confidence from which side of the family they received their ethnicities. And in the future, we'll also be able to tell them which communities and DNA matches are from each side of the family. So all of that data that they've got, they're able to data match it more effectively and give new insights. And, it's expensive to use Ancestry and these tools. And so they're trying to add value. And, this is a new feature that I've just launched. If you go to just type Ancestry side view into your favorite search engine, you'll find out more. Now, another company called MyHeritage has this ability to animate your family photos. It's a little bit like that Wombo app we spoke about before. And so you can take a photograph of one of your, ancestors or somebody. I actually, for fun, I looked online and I found a photo of Jenny in grayscale. So this is obviously from, I don't know, a couple of years ago or something. And so this was a photo. So it says, we're animating your photo. You've got to become a member. It's free, though. You can just become a free member. So I animated this photo, and it's doing its magical thing there, as you can see. And then it's got a picture where it looks as though that person, it's a little bit uncanny valley. It's not 100% perfect, but it does allow you to find photos of your ancestors that you might have and bring them to life. But these MyHeritage people launched a new feature called Live Story. So Live Story is something where you can actually create something for this person to say. And so here's an example of something that they did.
There's no audio coming through to us, Alex.
Okay, one second. Let me just stop the sharing. I probably haven't shared. Yeah, I've got to click share sound.
Thanks for this. I'm already addicted to family history research at the moment.
Yeah.
My pen name, Nellie Bly. I have managed to accomplish quite a lot during my lifetime. I was a reporter who became rather famous because of my investigative military essentials and money. That's all he told me. Rough storms made
example, right? So what I did was I took that same photo of Jenny, and I'll just show you how it works. I mean, obviously this is going to be pretty quick because I'm not going through the whole thing, but it's optimizing the photo. Now, obviously it's a US service, so the first voice you hear is an American voice, but you can change that. So if I say female and I put Jennifer, and then I put Wilcox, and I go next. And so here's the voice options. I'll change it to an Australian voice. So here's, now obviously it's going to sound nothing like Jenny.
Hello,
but,
I'm one of the voices you can use. Hello, I'm one of the voices you can use.
So let's just pretend we have that one. You can add a new chapter, and they can say, my parents were amazing people who rocked. Right, so I'm just making something up, and then I'm going to click on create live story. You can add more photos in there, and so then you can have a okay, so it wants me to hang on, let me just, it wants me to pay money, so let me just see if I can just have that first bit, because I did do it before, just with the first bit there. So I'll change the voice back to an Australian voice, supposedly Australian voice anyway, and save, and then I'm going to create live story, right? So let's see if it will. No, okay, well, it's asking me to pay money, so or start a free trial, but I did this before, and here's, it had a picture of Jenny talking, so that's an interesting thing that can bring old photographs back to life, and that person can tell a story, and there's a bunch of different voices to choose from. So that was a bit of fun. So let me just go to ask away. Yeah, you're on mute, Sandra. So.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, it's all right.
It's probably because you've already had one go, and that's all they're giving you.
That's all. That's right. Yeah. No, I realise that's all they're giving me. Well, I mean, they all want you to pay money. It's no surprise there, I guess, but
That's
that's
so
what they want.
That's so spooky though, because my mother passed away just recently, and I imagine doing that and putting it up there, everyone would get freaked out.
Yeah. Well, they'll probably say the voice isn't quite right, but I mean, you know, look, I mean, if you wanted to see what your ancestors looked like, and you want them to tell a story, and you want your, you know, your kids or grandkids or other people to see it, I mean, there's no other way. I mean, this is the way of, this is the modern way of doing it. And if you don't have any videos of that person, well, now you can get some relatively accurate kind of depictions. It's all done through AI. So it's the magic of modern technology.
We recorded my mother-in-law. We've got tape recordings of her. She's still alive at the moment. She's 97. But we could put those recordings of her voice.
Yeah.
I'm wondering whether you could actually put your own voice recordings into it.
Yeah, well, I mean, you could certainly create your own movie using iMovie or whatever the Windows Movie Maker equivalent is.
Yeah, of course.
But I mean, this is really to help you bring people back to life that were before the modern, you know, revolution. And of course, it's a great idea. You know, with any smartphone. I mean, Kmart sells these sort of these. You know, these sorts of things with the holders for like $20. I mean, very cheaply. It's incredible how cheaply Kmart is selling all this stuff for. You know, if you've got family members, you want to record their life stories and record it straight to a digital format, which you can just copy to a computer. You don't have to worry about converting from tapes anymore or DVDs. It's so simple today. I definitely recommend you do it because it's, you know, it's so simple. So
I saw something on TV the other day where they were making books for people. There's a guy who's dying, he's got cancer, and they came along, they did his autobiography, and they put a book together for him before he died because they knew he was dying. It was really awesome. I thought, oh, wow.
Well, it's like the old This Is Your Life. I mean, it used to be a TV show with great, now you can do it yourself. So it's a great gift to give.
This has really great implications for seniors computer clubs too, because, you know, this allows all the members to actually do something for themselves with the skills that they've learned, and rather than just learning for the sake of learning, they can put some practical applications to good use. And also, you know, it really feeds into historical societies as well. So that's really great.
And seniors can do it by themselves. They don't have to wait for anybody. I mean, one of these Kmart tripods is $20 with the phone holder. You put it in front of you. You know, you can buy these little Bluetooth remotes for a few dollars, literally a couple of bucks or something, that you can connect it to your phone and hit the button so it's taking a photo or it's pressing record. So you can just be sitting there, and as long as you look into the wherever the camera is, like I'm looking right now at the camera. You know, you can use the front so you can see yourself if you want, and you can use any phone, Android or iPhone, to edit these things together. So, you know, this is a little thing that people can do themselves. They don't have to rely upon family members to help them do that. So let me just keep going through because we're fast running out of time. Actually, I'll just make sure that sharing the sound. I don't know if there's anything else I wanted to share. So there was a picture. I just typed Jennifer Wilcox into Google, and there was a color one. There was a black and white one. And I just chose the black and white one. Now there's
Isabel has a question. She's still got a hand.
Ah, sure. See, sorry, I can't see because I'm. So go for it, Isabel.
I just want to say, I do hope everybody here today is going to use this information about ancestry and everything, and do a wonderful journal for the competition.
I was thinking that in my mind, actually, Isabel. I'm glad you vocalized that you were thinking the same thing too. So that's a great idea. I mean, you know, we have these incredible abilities. I mean, every time there's some sort of incident now, everyone's out there with their phone recording it, you know, rather than offering help to whoever's being injured or bashed up or whatever it might be. We can use this technology for much nicer pursuits. And entering a competition is a good thing. And then you end up with something that you leave as a legacy to your family. So great idea. Okay, let me keep going. And if anybody else wants to say anything, when I'm sharing the screen, I can't see the rest of you. So please just jump in and we'll keep going. So look, there's a new social media app that's focusing on authenticity. It's called Be Real. I haven't tried it yet, but if you start hearing about it, you heard about it here first. So look, you can just type in Be Real into a search engine and have a look and see what it's all about. It might not even be available in Australia. Sometimes these things are only available in the US first. There's also something with Google Messages. If you have an Android phone and you're using the Google Messages app, there could be a severe battery drain and overheating. And there's a problem where if you're opening up the camera, it somehow seems to stay on. And I haven't had this particular problem, but the simple workaround is to not use you can deny the viewfinder feature in Google Messages. You can go to the permissions in your settings and you can turn that off if you've noticed that your Android phone is all of a sudden losing its battery much more quickly. Then there's also, Google is rolling out new badges to help people avoid bad Chrome extensions. So if I scroll down, you can see that if you're looking for an extension inside of the Google Web Store, that you've got this little tick, and it says created by the owner of the listed website. The publisher has a good record with no history of violation. So on some of these extensions in Chrome, and I guess in other browsers as well, sometimes the maker of that extension has sold their business to somebody else, and that other person is a malicious actor who's then turned that extension into something that steals information. So this is just Google trying to make sure that you are keeping things up to date. There's also Google Chrome requires an update. There's been 3 zero-day vulnerabilities in the past month or so. So if you've got Chrome, I'm just loading Chrome now. I'm just going to bring it up. If you've got Chrome, then you click on the 3 dots over there. You go down to help and you go down to about Google Chrome. This is on PC or Mac, and it brings up this screen and it's checking for updates. And if there is an update, it'll tell you. Now, often what happens with Chrome is that it will install the update, but until you shut Chrome down and start it up again, the update hasn't actually been installed. So some of you might be thinking, well, don't my computers automatically update themselves? And the problem is that they're not updating themselves. Also, I read an article that was quoting the software VP of Apple, Craig Federighi, who was saying that if you are waiting for Apple to update your iPhone automatically, you could be waiting 3 or 4 weeks. You should go and check for it manually, because if all of the iPhones and iPads and Apple Watches and Apple TVs all went and hit Apple's servers at once, it would be the equivalent of a denial of service attack. So it is a good idea to update manually or to check for manual updates. The only caveat to that is if you have a Windows device, I have read that if you continually click the button that says check for updates, Microsoft thinks that you want to see an update. So at least on Windows 10, and I'm just imagining it's the same for Windows 11, they would give you the updates for some of their, they were like preview updates. Like they were giving you updates that you might not necessarily want. So, and also with Windows 10, there was an update that came out in November that has now started going out widely. So if you look in your Windows updates and you see an update for 2.1H1, that's definitely something you should check. And on that regard, there is a bunch of fake Windows 11 updates out there. I'm just looking for it here. So here's an article from Gizmodo. This says, this convincing Windows 11 upgrade website contains nasty malware. And it says this fake web page looks identical to the official Microsoft web page. And the link was something like Windows 11. I mean, they'll cut it out there, but it was Windows 11-upgrade11.com. And for somebody who's not really au fait with that, you would just think, well, hey, this looks like an official site, and you click it and it will install malware. So the place to upgrade Windows 11 is by clicking on the settings button and going to Windows Update. You can also go to Microsoft.com if you want to find where to download it. And on Microsoft.com, you go into the search button and you type in Windows 11 upgrade, or sorry, download Windows 11. And when you do that, you can also do this for download Windows 10 as well, but it's got it here, download Windows 11. So you click on that, and from here you can actually download the ISO file, which is the file format for the that you can install onto a DVD, or you can load it onto a USB stick. And it's the installation assistant, and there's a very similar page for Windows 10. So as with all things, always go to the source. Never trust an SMS or an email telling you, or a pop-up, whether it's for Adobe Acrobat or something else. Always go to the main original website, and that's the safest place to go. Also, if you are an iPhone user and you wish to switch to Android, well, 6 years ago, Apple launched an app for Android called Move to iOS. Well, 6 years later, Google has finally come up with a similar app. Now, it's not available yet, but it's coming in a few weeks' time, and it will allow you to easily transfer your data from an iPhone to Android. I don't know why you'd want to go to Android, but people do. I mean, there's some pretty cool Androids out there. iPhone's still the safest. You can't copy your messages across, though. They're all encrypted. You'd have to, well, it says here, turn off iMessage to get text messages on your new device. So you've got to turn iMessage off to get new messages. Otherwise, there's a bit of an issue there. So that is coming very soon. How to add wireless charging to any phone. Actually, there's a little adapt. All new phones come with wireless. Well, almost all new phones come with wireless charging. There are adapters that you can buy to plug into the bottom of older iPhones and Androids, but better to just buy a new phone with wireless charging. This was the third urgent Google Chrome update that can let people overtake your computer. Now, also, if you type in ZapBat, Z-A-P-B-A-T-T, ZapBat, if you type that into your search engine and you type in the word ITWire in front of it, you'll see that I did this great interview with this gentleman called Charlie Welch. Now, the short version here is that he's using a technology called LTO. Let me just go to his website. LTO stands for lithium titanate. Lithium titanate is an alternative to lithium ion batteries. It's been used by the military for 20 years. And the problem originally was that it didn't have enough energy density in the same space. And also it was difficult to control the amount of charging that was going in and going out. All that's been fixed. And as Charlie explains, this technology can charge from 0 to full in 20 minutes. The normal lifespan of a battery is between 500 charge cycles and 1,000 or 1,500 charge cycles. And what happened is that this technology has got 15,000 charge cycles, and the battery's been going up to 45,000 charge cycles. So that means your battery, instead of dying after 2 or 3 years, it'll take 10, 20 or more years for that battery to start degrading. They've had lithium titanate batteries that go to 45,000 charge cycles. And if you charge once a day, he says that's 100 years. So this means that you won't have to worry about your battery dying. And also the battery can be used in plus 55 degrees to minus 30 degrees. So it's a greater range than most lithium ion batteries. And if you damage the battery, if you get a lithium ion battery, if you get your phone and you hammer a nail through the back of your phone, most likely it will explode and catch fire. And that fire will burn for several hours because of a thermal runaway issue. And that's what's happening with Tesla cars. When some of them crash, the battery gets damaged. And then the fire department can use thousands of liters of water and can't put the fire out. And in fact, on planes, they actually had these boxes with sand, and they would try to put the phone with tongs into sand and then close it up to try and cut the fire. So lithium titanate doesn't have this problem. They're going to have these batteries in various devices from the end of this year, and hopefully over the next few years, we'll see this battery technology bypass or replacing lithium ion. The catch at the moment is the price is twice as much as a lithium ion battery, and in price sensitive phones, that's going to be a problem. But as more and more people use this, the price will come down. And personally, if I had a choice of buying a new iPhone or Samsung or a new device, and I could pay a bit more, for a battery that would last 10 or 20 years as opposed to running out in 2 or 3 years, and there was no chance of it catching fire and exploding, then and I would choose to buy that battery. So that's an interesting thing. And if you wish to watch the video interview that I did with Charlie Welch, you can just type ITWire and ZapBat, you'll find this article and you can watch it, and it's the future. Alexa is also going to be commemorating Anzac Day 2022. If you have an Amazon Alexa, the State Library of Queensland has worked with Amazon Alexa and also with Google Assistant, and you can install this Anzac Stories skill, and you can say, Alexa, launch Anzac Stories, or Alexa, ask Anzac Stories to play the last post, or ask Anzac Stories to place a poppy. And the State Library of Queensland will place a poppy at the Anzac Square Memorial Gardens for you. And this is something, I remember in 2019, Google was doing something with Anzac Day as well. And I expect to see more of these various collaborations. And if you've got a Lenovo laptop, over 100 models of Lenovo laptop can be infected. If a hacker can get in front of it, with unremovable malware. There are patches and updates for your Lenovo laptop to update the BIOS. Whilst this is sort of a low chance of being infected, it is real. And if you have a Lenovo device, please check. Otherwise, just type in Lenovo updates into updates, check into Google, and you'll find the Lenovo support page. But this particular article talks about over 100 different models exploiting these critical UEFI vulnerabilities. That's the type of the BIOS and the firmware. So yeah, and that was it. So bit of an update, and probably the most interesting of all of that was the cool new ancestry stuff, and also the battery. So thank you. And you're all on mute.
Thank you, Alex.
Thanks. That was very good.
No worries. Well, I'll we'll it's 2:04, so we'll call it a day, and we'll have another similar session to this next month. Will be a bit more organized. We've got a big strategy meeting for ASCCA next week that is for the board. We'll be discussing all sorts of things and discussing how to make this a more interesting meeting for everybody. So thank you again, and I'll see you all next month. We'll list when it's going to be in the calendar, and we'll send an email out as well. So thank you all, and bye for now.